A very good evening to you from Ghana, Africa, Accra. And then good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are watching us from. You are warmly welcome to the Power Impact Series show, proudly brought to you by the African Season Speakers Network, where we influence the next generation of Africans and, for that matter, any young person anywhere in the world. My name is Ambassador Benjamin Uswanza. It's always a pleasure having you here on the Power Impact Series show. We're going to have a wonderful discussion today. So if you have not invited someone to join us for this conversation, you can kindly do that. Share the link, share it so that someone will also come and join this wonderful conversation that we're having on this episode. It's promising going to be a wonderful time today. So don't lose the opportunity of being online or inviting somebody to be online. Last week, yeah, sorry we couldn't come your way, but this week we're coming with full force. I promise you, you're going to love to listen to this wonderful guest we have in our studios today over and over and over again. But before I go on to do the introduction of our guest for today, let me know where you're joining us from. Get into the chat area. Let me know who is online with me and share the page as well. Let others also join so that we have a wonderful discussion. Right after the first commercial break, I'm going to come your way and I'll introduce to you our guest for today. So stick around, don't go anywhere, share the page, and I will be right back.
Need a spark to kickstart your innovation? Looking for thoughts and talks to get things moving? Wondering how to navigate a future full of change and uncertainty? With the eye-opening stories of digital disruption, extreme customer centricity, organizational innovation, and global shift, our collective of speakers, MCs, and moderators will shift your perspective. Meet our speakers. For booking and interviews, contact us on 0246 054092 or send us a mail info.accessnet@gmail.com. You can also follow us on all social media channels at AccessNet Global, African Seasoned Speakers Network, influencing the next generation of Africans.
Influencing the next generation of Africans, and that is what we seek to do. Thank you so much for joining us, and then we are about to roll for today's show. Yes, so I said earlier on that right after the show, we are going to introduce to you our guest for today. And our guest for today is just a simple person. I'm sure you might have heard him speak somewhere else, or you might have seen him doing what he does best. And today he's in here, he's in house, he's joining us on the Power Impact Series show, and it's going to be a wonderful time. So yes, we're going to love it. Thank you so much, Sally, someone all the way from the US. Thank you for joining us. Yes, let me know who is online again with me. Thank you, Sally. It's going to be a wonderful time. Share the link and let others also join. So our wonderful guest for today that we're going to have a conversation with is a public speaking coach. Our guest is also an international keynote speaker at summits, at conferences, at webinars, at all speaking events. He's a humble person, and he's always ready to impart the knowledge that he's gotten over the years, and he shares his experiences through what he's been doing all these years. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us on the Power Impact Series show for the very first time is no other person than the man himself, Ibrahim Mustapha from the Republic of Ghana, West Africa. I love the flag behind you. I love it. I love the flag. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, and thank you for having me. And I appreciate your time and all the great things that you do. My name is Ibrahim Mustapha. I'm a public speaking coach and also an author and keynote speaker. In the past 10 years, I've spoken at great international conferences like the World Economic Forum, the United Nations, Beijing Axis in China, and that's just a few of the places I've spoken at. And I'm here, and I'm happy to also share one or two things. Maybe someone will get something out of that.
Well, maybe someone will get something out of that. And I love you said one or two. You know, Mustafa, we're going to get about 5, 6, 7 things. And And we are ready. We are ready to take home all that you're going to share with us. So thank you so much. Yeah. So you made mention that you've spoken on international platforms, and yes, that's the topic we don't talk about today. But before we even start, I'm just going to keep it. I'm just going to kick in with that one. How does it feel being the keynote speaker for such international conferences? How does it feel? How does what when you get that kind of invitation? What's the excitement like, or is it excitement, or is it fear, or is it a lot of pressure on you? How do you go about it when you get such invitations?
Right. So it's a mixture of all. You have the anxiety, you have the fear factor, but you have the grace factor,
Right.
whereby when you go to the international conferences, the first thing I always look up at is the 5-star hotel they give you and the 5-star treatment that they give you. So I get there and I'm preparing, and before I even leave Ghana, my focus is all on the conference. Why?
Right.
Because I know that it's not a mean feat that I will just use the power of public speaking and my voice to be able to get there. So when I start packing, I start looking at that young girl, that young boy in my village who don't have the voice. And I am going to stand in front of like these global leaders, and I'm not going to participate like an audience. I'm going to speak. So based on all these things, I need to get ready. I need to be prepared. And I need to let the world know that, yes, this is Ibrahim Mustapha. I represent Ghana. I represent me. I represent Africa. And I'm coming to do it anyway. So there's a mixture: fear, anxiety, happiness, and that kind of like grace to say that, yes, I'm here. What next? So that's the feeling.
That's the feeling. Yeah, that's the feeling. I love it. How he bottled it all. He said it's a mixture of everything. And ladies and gentlemen, that's what I'm going to do today. It's a mixture of everything. I get some people always thinking that public speaking is only for people like Mustafa. And aside him, all other people don't need public speaking. But just as he's just started bottling it, I'm just getting ready myself to listen to what we're going to have today. Thank you so much for those that are joining us. You are welcome to the Power Impact Series show, brought to you by the African Season Speakers Network. Today's episode is going to be powerful because, hey, our guests have started blazing from all cylinders already. Thank you so much, Fusaini Gafa Wimpini, all the way from Accra, Ghana. He says, I am monitoring. Thank you so much for monitoring. Yeah.
Right,
I'm a
right,
bitch. He says, we are ready to learn from you as well. Thank you so much.
great,
Steve
great.
Giggs says, yeah, ready to learn. Joining you all the way from South Africa. Let it keep coming. Keep it coming because we are ready to learn and we've come ready to learn from the Power Impact Series show. Right. So we're about to hit in with our topic for today. Pam. That is our topic for today. Public speaking and content creation. So, Mustafa, one may ask, what is public speaking? Public speaking, is it only when you stand in front of people talking at conferences, at seminars, at events? That is what is termed as public speaking, or what is public speaking? If you can just bottle it up for us.
Right. So when I started doing this public speaking coaching, I those days I used to go through books, read through, just search on the internet looking for definitions. And I realized that each one has his or her own definition. When you look at Harvard, when you look at all the great organizations, they have like what they term as public speaking. But growing up and doing this for the past 10 years, I've come to define public speaking as speaking from your heart of
Wow.
what you know, the experiences that you have, and you want to share to the world. It could be only
Wow.
you speaking with your camera in your room and you are reaching out to 1 million people, or you are speaking to 2 people, 3, 10 million people. All is public speaking. You don't need to be speaking to 10 million people before it's public speaking. You may just be speaking in your room, like we are all doing. You are speaking in your room somewhere, maybe only you. And I'm also doing that alone. But we are reaching out to, potentially, we may reach out to 1 million people the next 1 year if this content is online. And that's public speaking. So if you're home thinking about some technical definition, no, whatever you know. If you're a tailor, if you're a trader, if you're a carpenter, if you're a coach, if you're an MC, like my brother, if you're a keynote speaker like he does, and you are sharing your word to the world, it's public speaking. And that's public speaking to me.
Speaking from your heart, that touches and that pierces.
Yes.
Speaking from your heart, that is public speaking. But you see, I get the points that you made, that you were searching for all that definitions that you could search for. But once you started doing it, or once you are in it, you've gotten a new or a different meaning to what we do. Now, do we have people who are naturally born to be public speakers, and others they are not born to be public speakers, so it is for certain group of people who are to be doing public speaking, and others just to be listening?
Right. So I think this is a good question, and I hear this a lot. And also, it comes back down to one or two things. Each one of us, we are born, right? Some people may appear from that young age to be good speakers. And you may say they are good speakers or they are great speakers.
Right.
But it comes down to the experiences they've seen. It comes down to the lineage, the type of upbringing they get from their infancy. And if you get a good upbringing, you get exposure, naturally, you are going to be a good speaker. So you see that some children, when you go to the nursery schools, primary and nursery, you will see that some are extra good in terms of presentation. They can sing, they can do poetry just because of the exposure, and because they are able to get that mindset that, yes, don't be afraid of people, you can speak. In any way, each one of us has a mouth, for not only for eating, but to communicate. So we are all born to speak. But some people along the line, they use things like researches to hide behind that and say, oh, I'm afraid to speak in public because I'm an introvert. And what they use those kind of definitions. I'm telling you, you are not an introvert. You are just afraid to speak in public. So we are all speakers. But the two things that differentiates this is that you are either a good speaker or a bad speaker.
Okay.
That's just it. You are a good speaker or a bad speaker. You do it right or do it wrong. Those are the two things that I've seen.
You are either a good speaker or a bad speaker. Thank you so much. Sally has started, shooting her questions already. Sally, I know we're going to get there. I love it. Kola Nut from the Savannah region of Ghana. He says Mustapha is...
Kola Nut.
Yeah, Kola Nut. You know him.
I know Kola, and I can see Clement too.
Hey, yeah. Clement says raw. Kola says Mustapha is a phenomenal. Yeah, we know you. You are phenomenal yourself, Kola. We know what the good works you're doing in that place. Right. So, is it that you're a good speaker or you're a bad speaker? What are the attributes of a good speaker then? And then what makes one a bad speaker?
So the attributes is just coming back to my definition. If you're able to speak from your heart and people get to understand you, you're a good speaker. And sometimes we see public speaking as speaking big grammar. No, it's just about communication. I've gotten the opportunity whereby I coach like member of parliaments, I coach ministers, I coach MCs, the DCs. And sometimes I just tell them that if the president is coming to your community and you know that your English is not good and you have international community or great people, why don't you speak in your local dialect and let someone translate that?
Okay.
You are still doing public speaking.
Okay.
You may not necessarily do public speaking in English to say you are doing public speaking. Wow. So you see that people force like there to be there when there is not there. You are not good in English. If you ask me to do French, public speaking in French, I won't do it because I'm not good in that. I will disgrace myself.
Right.
So I do what I do best, and I speak the language I know how to speak in. Right. So if English is not your thing, even though we all make mistakes and we get away with that, But if you know that you cannot flow in English language, speak Tree, speak Dagbanle, speak Sisala, speak the language that you are familiar with, and give the other opponent opportunity to also learn from you, because you have a translator, someone to translate that to you. So those are some of the attributes that you need to pick up as a good speaker. But when we come to bad speakers, there are people who don't understand the language they are communicating it. They want to impress with their words. They want people to know that they can speak, and they go and make all sort of mistakes. And people don't understand them. So if you speak and they don't understand you, that is how I term as a bad speaker. But all in all, I've gotten the opportunity to invite someone to my events from the first 30 minutes. And that's why I don't judge people based on whatever you are saying. I say you are a good or bad speaker.
Right.
I just look at the communication aspect of it. Are you able to communicate?
Okay.
If you are able to do it, then I would say, okay, you are getting there. I invited someone to speak at one of my events. When he started the first 30 minutes, he struggled. He was finding it difficult. He was shivering. He was holding the microphone and shivering, literally. But the last 30 minutes, he got a standing ovation.
Wow.
So tell me, was this a good speaker or a bad speaker? So
he spoke from his heart.
From his heart.
Right. So what we're still diving in. So thank you for joining us here on the Power Impact Series show. And then we're here with Ibrahim Mustapha tackling the topic public speaking and content creation. Now, so the example you gave was that in the first few minutes of this speaker's time given wasn't that good, was a bit jittery, but then getting to the end, or when this speaker finished, this speaker got a standing ovation. What could cause that initial part of jittering and kind of shaking, kind of fidgeting, not comfortable? What contributes to that? And then probably maybe someone might just judge this speaker within that few minutes of their time, and then maybe just withdraw from really following this wonderful person who got a standing ovation at the end of their speech.
One of the things I realize is the mindset. The mindset that you want to speak to people, and you even start telling yourself that I'm not good in public speaking.
Okay.
So maybe I invite someone that a person should come and do public speaking or to speak at an event. They start judging themselves. I'm not good. Oh, I am afraid of public speaking. I will fail.
Okay.
When I go, you look at the people and you start to seek for people's opinion sometimes, especially when it is an interview. You ask people, how do you speak at an interview? Then everybody is putting their fear into you. So when you get to the venue and you see the audience, you sometimes get blank. So one is you being afraid. Two is also your body telling you that you cannot do it. So your body will tell you that I can't do it. So you see that when you hold a microphone like this, you are shivering, you are shaking, and your voice, if you don't know the techniques, if you don't know the strategies, you will not be able to do it. So I realized that he was shaking. The microphone was not comfortable. It was just like even his movement was not all that good. But the moment the audience starts to react to him, smile back, ask questions, then he was able to find like his space, to know that yes, I belong here and I can be able to do it. So that was what happened. So sometimes the fear factor, sometimes we just want to do it like my good friend is here, Clement. He also want to do it Takashi. For these two people, with Clement and Kola, they will distract me now. But Clement will always want to do it the Takashi way, right? And that is, yes, and that is one of the things. He wants to do it the hard way, school of hard knocks. I can do it, right? But on a lighter note, those are some of the things that I take people through to let them know that your mindset is what is keeping you. You can do it.
Right. Right. Yes, we can see them all already tackling and hustling. I am already Colanut and then Clement. Thank you so much for joining.
Oh,
You guys are good, man. We love the flow. We love the flow. So,
I swear.
right, we were getting back to our viewers' questions soon, but we want to go a bit further and then we bring it up. So, we want I am to take us through a typical coaching way, like somebody who is afraid of standing in front of people to talk. And sometimes
Right.
people, when we're talking about public speaking, people feel it's only those that are stand in front of thousands or hundreds of people to do the speaking. But then those that do presentation to their management team in their offices, even going for an interview, it's all part of public speaking. We want I am to take us through that point, that someone who is afraid of doing public speaking, putting
Yeah.
himself in that shoe, starting from 1 till about 10. What are the processes someone will go through to get that confidence and to be able to speak from their heart to their audience to become a good speaker?
Right. I can see Fushane Abdul Ghaffar. Thank you, Fushane, for joining. So, yeah, first of all, before I coach anybody, I want to know the background. So I do the questions and analysis to know why the person is afraid to speak. Some people, so first of all, I ask them questions like, when was the last time you spoke? And when did you think when did you realize that you started getting that fear when you want to go on stage? So when I ask them this question, I want to know and I want to ascertain why. Sometimes if you don't know the root of the problem, you may be tackling something and it's something else. So there were some people, majority of the people tell me that, oh, me, I am an introvert. I am this, I am A, B, C, D. Someone will say, oh, from childhood. Someone will say from maybe school. Someone will say, this is like my community. As a lady, you don't get to stand in front of men to speak. And someone will also even tell you that they don't speak in front of like elders because that's how they were brought up. It's not like Clemens who will use Takashi and go and stand in front of the elders trying to yob them to get no. So you see that with that, you have to take them through to let them know why. So the next step is to let them know why they need to speak. So after doing the analysis, I ask them that, so why do you want to speak? Why do you think you are losing out if you are not speaking? So I let them know why they should speak and let them know that, yes, some people will say, oh, I want to speak because of my career interview. Someone like Clement will say, I want to speak because I have a movie called Zongo and they will invite me to come and speak. I'll say, no, it's not about that. Kola Not, who is doing great, will say, okay, I have a book project. I have all these great projects. I'll say, okay, that's okay, but there's something more, bigger than that. Let them know that with public speaking, you can save lives. I can assure you that if you are a doctor and you can do public speaking right, or a nurse and you can talk to someone to let the person know that, oh, your sickness is okay. It's not that big. You'll be okay. If you can comfort people, if you can console people of your voice, you see that you are getting somewhere. If you're a lawyer and you can speak in public, you can win cases. If you're a lawyer, you can be able to do it. So I let them know that with public speaking, you can be able to save lives. I've seen people who have stopped people out of committing suicide. Then once you give them a reason why they need to speak in public, then they know that, oh, it's even more than that interview. It's not about the interview. It's not about the career. No, it's about you speaking out your mind. There was a video of a guy who was just walking on the street and the guy just like got exhausted and started like he nearly gave up in life because of the frustration of life, because there's no one to talk to, there's no one to listen to and stuff. If you look at the terrain in now, Clement should be somewhere in Netherlands, right? And even people in America, there's no one to talk to. So you see that mental health cases is rising in some parts of the world because they have a lot in their minds and no one to speak to.
Right.
So once you let them know that yes, public speaking can help you, if you are going through a lot in terms of your mental health, sometimes you just need to speak up. And there are coaches who are just there, and their role, coaching on Fiverr, is just that their gig is 1 hour for people to talk to them.
Wow.
So people just pay. When you just go to fiverr.com and you check listening to people or happiness coach or something, they will pay you like $100. And all you do is that they call you and you listen to them. They just vent and you listen to them. And 1 hour they pay you. They just want to listen to them.
Right.
Then after that, we now start to develop strategies. To let the person speak. And one of the strategies I let them know is that your body language, once you're in front of people, there are some signs of nervousness. You need to take care of that. Number one is if you are wearing a watch. So with that one, I do it physically. If you are wearing a watch, you may not know the time that you are fidgeting with that watch. Sometimes you are pulling your shirt. Sometimes, like Clement will always do, and like I get to me, right? And for ladies, they start to they're shaking. The microphone is like I get to me. They are going through a lot, and they are shivering. So those are some of the physical things that you may see once you are standing there. And sometimes, if you want comfort, you do this way on stage, but that is not something that is professional.
Right.
In the low level, you can be able to do this if you are doing a facilitation or stuff. You can be able to do that, right? Then some people too, once you are speaking, you turn your back on the projector, like you are speaking on a projector and you keep on watching the projector. No, that is like TEDx level. That may not be allowed. So that's why we have televisions in front of, monitors in front of you. And that is your speakers,
right,
or your monitors. Then after that, you need to practice.
Okay.
You need to practice speaking. Please tell these two people, they are distracting me. Kola Norton.
Mr. Kola Norton.
Let me go to
Clement, we want you to do the public speaking backstage.
To be frank, they are great speakers. When I'm speaking and they are there, I feel comfortable. Like all the stages. And content creation, we'll talk about that in a bit.
Right.
But the next thing that I take them through is the practice session. How to practice their presentation. So if you are here, you want to practice your presentation at home, one of the things you need to appreciate is that the first thing that can be effective is record yourself.
Okay.
In your room, delete it, record it like video. It could be video, audio, whatever. Record, delete, record like 10 times.
Right.
Just give a 5 minutes presentation. Maybe you talk about leadership or whatever you want to talk about.
Right.
If it is philanthropy, the best person to talk about philanthropy in Ghana is Kola Norton.
Right.
If you want to talk about agriculture or technology, Clement can do it.
Right.
So you talk about whatever you want to talk, 5 minutes, you take it, you review it.
Right.
Delete it, record again, delete, record, delete, until you are comfortable with that. Then the second way to practice is you can stand in front of the mirror. Stand, use your gestures. Say, but that may not be effective in the real world because your mirror is not communicating to you.
Yeah.
You are using that for your gestures and stuff. The third way to practice your speaking is your friends and family. Sit them down. Practice in front of them. Let them know. Let them give you feedback. It could be at work site.
Okay.
You have your mini workers or your staff. They want to do a major presentation. Let them sit down and you do a mini presentation for them to give you feedback.
Right.
And sometimes it's painful. It hurts when they tell you your mistakes in public speaking. Okay. It will hurt you a lot, but it's going to help you prepare in the near future. Wow. Then the other thing you need to do to practice is, instead of using your family and friends, you can actually use real world situations to practice your presentation. For example, if I want to do like a group presentation for like 1,000 or 2,000 participants, okay, I will do the same presentation, but I'm going to do it to a smaller group, like 10 people, 20 people. So I'll go to a school. Maybe I'm going to do a public speaking training in like maybe Accra International Conference Center.
Right.
I'm going to get a demo presentation like that in maybe a senior high school or junior high school or as an association. It's going to be a real presentation, but I'm using them to practice, but they may not know.
Right.
You can be able to use that to also do your practice. And there are a lot of ways to practice your presentation. There are a lot of ways to practice your presentation. You can also do like Zoom meetings. You can go on live on Facebook, TikTok, just to practice your presentation. Then once I take them through how to practice, the next chapter is, I want to find out why are you being afraid? That is the first question I started with.
Right.
I'm going to ask the same question again. Some people will tell you that the first 5 minutes is the problem. Like Clement will tell you that the first 5 minutes is the problem. When you're able to get through the first 5 minutes, you can be able to do more. Please, the preparation is the problem. The way you prepare. Because some people, they don't know how to start their presentation. They have their main content. But you see, we don't plan how we started. So maybe you want to start by greeting. If you don't plan that, people want to go on stage. So once they go on stage and see that people, they don't know what to say. But if you plan that, okay, when I go on stage, I'm going to greet. Hello, good afternoon. Or maybe when you go on stage, I'm going to start with, my name is Ibrahim Mustapha, I'm a public speaking coach. That is okay, you can introduce yourself. Some people go on stage and they start with why they are here. Okay. So today, we are going to learn public speaking or leadership. And these are the pointers. At the end of this day, we should be able to equip ourselves with, you tell them the goal of the presentation. Right. Some people go and they even thank the organizers.
Okay.
You see, once you know what you want to start with, then once you go on stage, you can start with that very well.
Okay.
Then I ask them the preparation. Some people they don't prepare. They think everything should be in their mind. People think that it should be in their mind. So once they go out, they want to figure it out. Please, you are not a superhuman being. You are not a superpower person. You are not you can't memorize everything. So I tell them that you need to learn to prepare. You can put some pointers in your notepad, whereby you can easily refer if you make mistakes.
Okay.
I've seen some people go on stage in international conferences. They miss all their words.
Oh, wow.
And the people, if it is outside Ghana, they will start clapping for you. But if it is in Ghana, the way they will start looking at you, say, hey, wow, bumpa, this person is like, right? But I've seen that international, the person is speaking, the person loses words, and they started clapping.
Wow.
And the person got her composure back and was able to pick it up. Right. But in Ghana, I'm telling you, no one will help you.
Right.
You are on your own. So have a book, have a notepad.
Right.
Write the key things down. Okay, I'm going to introduce, I'm going to talk about a vision, I'm going to talk about leadership, I'm going to talk about confidence. Wow. So in the case that you miss a point, you just take your phone, refer, right. Or you use your notepad, refer. And that's the extemporaneous type of delivery.
Right.
So you need to know the type of delivery. If you are going to do presidential delivery, whereby you do manuscripts, you read everything verbatim, that is too easy. Right. You can write all your speech. If you want to use memorized delivery, whereby you memorize like poets, musicians, so if you are an artist, you need to know that you have to memorize your song, because you need to be able to sing it out word to word.
Yeah.
Some people go on and they miss their words. Right. Then number 3 is impromptu, where you are not aware and they just invite you.
That's it.
You may accept it or not. Then the last one is the extemporaneous delivery. Is you prepare, you can use PowerPoint to put in your points. You can use your phone to put in your points. You can use a notepad or a small paper, whereby you can refer and just go through. With the pastors and imams, they use extemporaneous delivery. Motivational speakers will use extemporaneous delivery. So you see that a pastor or imam is walking and there's a Bible on the podium. So right. The person will walk tell a story of whatever he wants to tell, come back, refer, and know that, oh, I'm going to talk about this story.
Okay.
But there's a guide to them.
Right.
There's a guide. Then once I take them through all these things, then I start to access them, put them through practice sessions, let them do many presentations, let them introduce themselves, just to let them believe in themselves,
Right.
let them open up, let them start speaking so that I will assess them. Some people are there, their voices are too low. Some people are there like Clement, the voice is too high. So you have to bring the person's voice down, right? Clement like this, if he's speaking, it's like he has swallowed a bucket. So you have to tone him down, right? And Kula not a great speaker and staff.
Right.
So I need to listen to them to know, am I supposed to pitch them down or up? For some people, because they are reserved, their speaking is like, no, you have to let them do activities. So sometimes I even send my participants, if I'm doing one-on-one, I send them to the beach and let them shout the whole day. They will shout until their voices come out. So in short, these are some of the things that people go through when they typically get public speaking coaching from me. And if you use some of this, you'll be able to help yourself. If it is practicing, and one of the methods I didn't mention is, let me get this book. Sorry.
Right.
So it's to read aloud.
Right.
So you get any book, whether it's a newspaper or it's like a post-motivational quote, whatever, you can read aloud. And don't read aloud like you are reading a book. So maybe Kula Nuts will start reading and say, my name is Kula. And no. Don't read like that.
Right.
Open to any chapter, any page.
Okay.
Read like, so for example, I want to read a speech by Kwame Nkrumah.
Okay.
And if you are reading aloud and you read like this, at long last, the battle has ended, and that's Ghana, your beloved country is free. No, you may not get the impact of public speaking.
Okay.
But read it like you are giving a presentation. So you start by saying, at long last, the battle has ended, and that's Ghana, your beloved country is free forever. If you read like this for 30 minutes every day, I'm telling you, your voice, there are a lot of things that will improve. So those are some of the things that people go through to get their voices in shape and to start speaking.
Wow. Well, this is a whole semester's lecture that we've captured and been able to push it within these few minutes. We want to say thank you very much for you joining us online here. You are on the Power Impact Series show, proudly brought to you by the African Citizen Speakers Network. Today we are here with Ibrahim Mustapha, taking us through public speaking and content creation. We're about to dive into the second part, which is the content creation. We're looking at the public speaking part, and I would just want to thank you all for joining us, and thank you for the comments that are coming in. I'm so loving all these comments that are coming in. I would just want to read some few questions pertaining to the public speaking part before we zoom into the content creation. So I want to take the first one from Sally. Okay, Sally is saying that Sally says she gets chronic stage fright. How do I overcome that? Because it's constant. I get it anytime I'm given that opportunity to speak publicly. I get that chronic stage fright. How do I handle that, and how do I work on that?
Right. So there are a lot of things that you can do. It's not a one size fits all.
Right.
And one of the things that you can do is to learn to even breathe in and breathe out sometimes. So learn to make yourself comfortable, learn to breathe in and breathe out. If you do this, like practice doing this, and anytime you have a presentation, once you're afraid, there's a lot of pressure in you. There's a lot of tension in you. So you need to learn to bring out some tension, some pressure. Sometimes some people say drink some water. Some people say do some physical activities. But then you just need to learn to tell yourself that it's possible, you can do it. So winning your mindset. There was one event that I wanted to speak. It was an international conference. And we were at the back room, backstage. So you'll be there and they'll call you, come. were 3 speakers. So the first man who was to speak, like 60 something years old man,
Okay.
he was to speak before me. So when we were there and the MC, they gave us a prompt that, okay, in the next 5 minutes, they are going to invite him first. Then second, I will come based on the agenda.
Right.
When it was time for him to come, he started doing press up. Old man,
Wow.
old man started doing hand pressing with his suit, like
Wow.
he was wearing suit, but he started doing press up there. So I was just there. I said, this white man, what is wrong with him? So he did that and they invited him. He went and spoke. So after my presentation, I came back and I asked him, I said, why were you doing the press up? And he told me that he needed to get his body like physically for that event.
Okay.
To let his body know that he's ready
Okay.
to be able to make a difference there. So anytime he's speaking, he does something like a physical activity, either just to jump around, to do like press up or stuff. And that is how he gets over his tension and pressure. Some people are there, they just like to listen to some music,
Okay.
and they are good to go. Clement like this would like to call the wife, and Kola too would like to call the wife. That like, so everybody, each one of us, we have what we do to make us happy.
Okay.
And once we get there, we will be able to like do what we love in terms of speaking. There are people who just like to do philanthropy work, volunteering.
Right.
So if you bring someone like Kola, right, there's no way he's going to get pressure.
Okay.
Because he loves what he's doing.
Okay.
And he knows that this is what I've been doing for the past distance. So he goes there and he delivers. So do what you love. Number 2, know that whenever you stand in front of people, you can make an impact. And also find out if there's a physical activity that you can do before you go on stage. And also if you're on stage and you still realize that there's pressure, learn to communicate, interact with your audience. Learn to interact with your audience. It could be asking them a question, and by the time they get to answer the questions, you realize that you will find yourself back.
Wow.
Sometimes let them do icebreakers.
Wow.
It's going to help you. Like, so there's pressure, there's tension. And say, okay, cool or not, can you help us do like a 2 minutes icebreakers? And even though you need to stop someone like Kola Not or Clement before they'll do it over, right? But icebreakers can help. And by the time they finish, you will regain your consciousness or whatever it is, and you are good to go.
Right. Before they finish with the icebreakers, you would have gained your consciousness and you are good to do. Thank you so much for joining. I just want to acknowledge these people that have joined us today, and they're keeping the conversation going. Paris Bennett, all the way from the United Kingdom. Thank you so much, Paris, for joining us. How are you doing? And then Abigail Sika Anand, thank you so much for joining us, Abigail. Thank you so much, Sibiri Balong. Also, thank you so much for joining us. Funny Sex, thank you so much for joining us. Amupolo, Hellman, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you for joining today's episode because it's getting hot in here. Thank you so much, my good people, Kolanot and Clement. Thank you for heckling. I am today for me. You've given him a good icebreaker. Thank you so much, you guys. You guys are too much. I really appreciate you for coming onto the show today. And then we want to just say thank you to our sponsors, Hard Charger, Deck Studios, for making it possible for us to bring this your way. We really appreciate them for making it possible for us to bring this wonderful wisdom nuggets. So the last one before we move to the content creation. Now, so Steve from South Africa says, does it count to use gestures to speak publicly when you're doing public speaking? Is it good to bring in gestures? I think he wants to find out. Sometimes, people want to do some gestures, others want to put their hands by themselves, and he's asking, does it really count when you have to do gestures during public speaking?
Yeah. So with this, I think, in my opinion, it's important because it makes your presentation much more beautiful. Apart from that, there's a study, research that says that 93% of whatever we do is non-verbal communication.
Okay.
but
Okay.
people understand your voice just comes like in the 7% category.
Wow.
So, for example, when you go to when you get opportunity to do some of the presentations, like countries, maybe like United States and some of the countries, if you are getting closer to their ministers, if you are getting closer to even their presidency, you appreciate that non-verbal communication is very important. So there's an analyst who will tell you that, okay, just like you know that Trump appeared on CNN, right? And there was a discussion on that, and there was a communication expert who was saying that he appeared not like he was having a bad day
Okay.
because of how his tie was
Okay.
and how he was like. So based on his tie, even people will
Right.
know that okay, this is what he's going through.
Okay.
So it tells you that if you go there and they communicate based on not what the president says, people judge
Right.
them based on their actions.
Okay.
So you never see a U.S. president you go to visit the person, and the U.S. president will be in front and you will be at the back. No, he will always be at the last person to enter the room.
Okay.
Because it shows that you are his guest.
Okay.
And he must make sure that you are comfortable.
Right.
For example, let me make it practical now. If I want to say three, and I say three, this is two. This is not three.
Okay.
If I want to say, okay, as Ghanaians, young entrepreneurs, let's love each other. And I say, let's love each other. This is boxing. This is a fight. Right. So you see that I'm communicating something different.
Right.
So your hand gestures, your facial expressions, the way you even smile and move, the way you act, all communicates. But all you just need to do is to learn to use that effectively.
Right.
Don't overdo it. Just because I'm saying you should use your hand gestures, you are just throwing your hand gestures like Clement. No, it's not like that. But do it with rhythm and understand your own way, how you can express your gestures.
Right.
Sometimes people copy other people's gestures and they overdo it. So gestures, one thing is that very important, but use it wisely.
Yeah, use it in moderation. That's what I am is trying to say. Don't overuse it. Don't overdo it. You might end up signaling the wrong meanings of the words you're speaking to your audience. Thank you so much, Anna. Let me just read this comment from Kola. It says, Mustapha is right. Chronic stage fright is about your mindset. You think you are talking to 1,000 people, and that's scary. Just change your mindset to suit the situation that you are in. It's just you and a fun audience. Have fun with it. Just have fun and flow with that you are presenting to your people. Thank you so much. And this is wonderful. Right now, so we want to move to the second part, which is content creation. Now, you've gotten that adrenaline, you've gotten that confidence to stand in front of people and do your speaking. Now, how do you come about with your content? Earlier on your submissions, you gave the type of public speakings, or the types that we have, and then there was one part of it which was the impromptu kind of speaking when you are not prepared. How do you go about getting the great content to present as a public speaker?
One thing you need to do, appreciate, is do what you love.
Right.
So if I talk to me and I say, Ibrahim Mustapha, do public speaking training, right? I don't need to take a lot of time to prepare. If I talk about philanthropy, right, and a bit of NADMO things to Kola Nut, he's a NADMO official, even though he doesn't want us to know that part. But he helps people in terms of that. But he loves like reading. So
right,
he goes to majority of the books in the northern region, like children,
right,
reading books. They come from Kola Nuts.
Right.
Individually, he just loved that. So he goes to. So if he says someone like this, talk about reading, the habits of reading, how to be able to help young people to read.
Right.
He doesn't need time to prepare that much.
Right.
So, and what I'm just trying to portray here is that, one, know what you are talking about. live it, be it, do it, keep doing it. When it comes to impromptu, there are techniques that you need to employ. Number one is make it short.
Right.
Make it short.
Right.
And also, if you don't have anything to say, get up and introduce yourself. In a typical public speaking situation, if I'm sitting at a conference, they say, okay, Ibrahim Mustapha, just say one or two things. Some people will get up and say, hey, they didn't invite me. They didn't tell me earlier that I will say something. But at the end of it, they'll say, okay, let me just say one thing and sit down. And those people will speak like 1 hour. They don't want to give the mic back to them. It's bad. If that's important, they will have given you the microphone to make you a main speaker. So to respect the other speakers, just make it short.
Right.
Maybe like 5 minutes. If it's impromptu, they just, say something. They respected you, and you also have to respect the other speakers.
Right.
What do you do when you get that opportunity? If you want to stand up to speak, from where you are seated to standing up, prepare something in your mind before you stand up. If you still need like 1 minute to prepare, just tell them, okay, like MC, in the next 2 minutes or 1 minute, just give me 1 minute, I'll come. Prepare. Some people don't prepare, and they get up, even if it is asking a question, they will circumvent around the question, keep asking the same question, and you feel like taking the mic from them because they are not prepared enough. Okay. So prepare, stand up. If you don't have anything to say, just introduce yourself. Oh, my name is Ibrahim Mustapha. I'm a public speaking coach. I like the conference. And in due time, I will be back to say one or two things. But for now, I'm just enjoying the conference. I would like to sit here. Wow. That's okay. Wow. That's simple and short. If you want to highlight us what someone has said, or you want to thank the organizers, still make it short. It's impromptu. Okay, for example, I can just paraphrase what Kola Not has said. So, I like what Kola Not has said. He says that please read with emotion, feel the emotions of the persona, put yourself in the shoes of the person you are reading. And I like that point a lot. So you see that if you put yourself in the person that you are speaking about, put yourself in the same persona, read from emotions, read with emotions and stuff, it's just going to help. So this is a great point. And I think in all the whole conference, it's a success. And maybe I believe that next year or next time, we'll get more people to come and fill the auditorium. My name is Ibrahim Mustapha, and thank you for giving me the microphone to share one or two things. Make it short. Make it short. But still, don't forget to prepare. You can still make it short, or you write all the things you are going to rise up and say. And you say those things, and you move along with that. So there are techniques, there are terminologies, but always prepare. If they ask you questions and you don't know, please don't tell them that you try, you keep on trying, you are missing it, and people say, what did this guy say? No, just say that, okay, you research and get back to them. Or sometimes put the question back to the audience. One of the mistakes we do as speakers is that when you are on stage, you may think that you are better than all the audience. No. Some of them are more experienced, and they know they are just there because maybe they are there to participate. And think about it. There are times you, the speaker, you're also participating in a conference as an audience. So sometimes re-ask the questions to the audience. And once you ask the question, you see that you see experienced people trying their hands on it. And at the end of the day, we just add one or two experience to carry it up. There was a conference, my recent conference, training program. It was in a church. And someone asked a question, are leaders born or made? Someone asked a question, are leaders born or made? Then, because it was a church situation, a little technical, so I re-asked the question to the audience. And one of our women elders got up and said, okay, in the Bible, Joshua, or one of them, is a born leader, right? And someone was also made. So the person used the biblical this thing, and I just said, okay, that's it. Right. And right from there, We've got our answer there because it's a debatable question.
Right.
It's a debatable question. Sometimes as a speaker, don't try to spark a debate.
Okay.
Just cut it short and stuff. So I think in content creation, maybe one day we'll look at how you can be able to create the digital world, how you can be able to create a brand using your content and being consistent about it so that people will get to hear about you and they get to invite you to conferences and you get to make an impact. Either you are making some income from your content or you are making impact of your content. This is very important.
Right, this is very important. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's getting good in here, and I really love all that we are discussing here. And I have a question also. It says, earlier on you had mentioned that when you are invited to speak in your area of interest, it's easier to easily flow. So, as a public speaker, do you only speak at your area of interest, or you can speak on any topic once you are prepared or you are okay for it, or you should stick to where you are well known for and then you continue doing your speaking?
Right. So one thing for sure is speak in your area of interest, but don't limit yourself.
Right.
Don't limit yourself. Just because you are a public speaking coach will not mean that you cannot speak about leadership.
Right. Right.
Right?
Right.
Just because you are a public speaking coach. So some of the topics are related. Some of the expertise are related.
Yeah.
And you can easily fit in. So you see that when even the global stage, you have Tony Robbins, right? We have someone like Les Brown who says he's a leader, public speaking. He's doing public speaking.
Right.
He's doing motivation.
Right.
We have John Maxwell,
Right.
who is into leadership.
Right.
But he also does a bit of marketing. Brian Tracy will say, okay, I'm doing sales. He's a sales coach, but he does marketing.
Right.
He has public speaking.
Sure.
So you see that some of them are related and you can easily intertwine. But if you're a public speaking coach and they ask you to speak about health, right? You see that if you don't have the expertise there, you are going to mess up.
Right.
Because you go and say things that will be dangerous to the other community. But if you have the expertise, go out and do it. For example, like Clement like this, you say you can speak. You don't say you won't do it too. You go and, because the wife is a doctor, you go and ask the wife. By the time you realize, you come and give you some injections you don't understand. During the corona, during the corona, Clement gave me some, brought some big syringes and that anytime I'm feeling that I'm having corona, I'm feeling that like the signs, I should take it. I say, Masa. So someone like this, you will do it.
Right.
So as a speaker, you need to carve a niche for yourself.
Right.
Know when you can easily fit in a different place than yours.
Right.
And know when to say no. Okay. And that is the challenge.
Right.
So if you, for example, there was a time they asked me to do like a health-related something. And I asked them specifically, do you want to can we talk about leadership in that aspect?
Okay.
They just said no. They gave me a specific topic, like that's something that will have to do with
more
public health. I said no.
Yeah.
No, technical. I don't do technical things. Because I may be able to research. I can easily research. Within 1 minute, I can research, put in some slides, go and do it. But I won't do it because that is not my fault. So I say I can recommend people to help you do that. So that was what happened. So if you are a speaker, know your field, know where to be able to fit in, but don't try to fit in areas that are very odd.
Don't try to fit in areas that are very odd as a speaker. Fit in your good area where you best flow, where you can easily maneuver through the stormy times and not in areas that you are not so much versed in. That can end up making you a bad speaker from being a good speaker as well. Thank you so much. Sally's last question, and then we can go for our last break, and then we will take our last comment from Ibrahim Mustapha. He says, I heard that to reduce nervousness, you can engage your audience with a joke. Do you advise such things? I'm sure Ibrahim spoke about the icebreaker, so maybe that's where you're trying to end to. But I don't know how Ibrahim will take this question. Engaging your audience with a joke to reduce your nervousness. Do you advise something like that?
So if you are someone like Cola Nut, you can. But if you are someone like me, I always devise a strategy. The audience are different altogether.
Right.
Sometimes you say a joke first, and no one is laughing. Everybody's.
Right.
You say another joke, and no one. Please just advise yourself. Don't disgrace your family. No, no, no. Don't do it again. Don't do it again. Some people, they have a lot of problems. They have a lot of problems. So if you want to use jokes, you need to like hit him, you need to learn the act of joking
Right.
on stage.
Right.
So you can see that like naturally, Kola Nut, he's good in that. He will make everybody laugh. He will make you like, that's okay. But when it comes to even MCing, you see the wedding MCs.
Right.
With them, it's like they can't get it wrong.
Right.
Why? Because they attack people to create the jokes.
Right.
So the person say, hey, chairman, see this your boot. Hey, this one is 1920. Everyone is laughing.
Right.
Because they've gone personal.
Sure.
So you see that if you want to go into the act of joking, you can be able to learn into it, learn some strategies that can help you so that you can be able to fit in. But then the icebreakers will help you. And also there are some jokes that people like, jokes about sex, jokes about relationship, jokes about heartbreaks. People sometimes get along with them. But all in all, try it and see if it goes on well. You can move on it. If it's not, you use the icebreakers method to engage your audience, or questions or quizzes, whatever you can use to engage your audience. Use that.
Whatever you can use to engage your audience, use that. And that makes you bring down your nervousness. That's going to be your hit point, and that's going to be your greatest point to maneuver your stormy times when you're doing your public speaking. Yeah. We take our last commercial break, and when we come back, Ibrahim Mustapha is going to give us his final words, and then we'll finish today's episode. Stick around, don't go anywhere. We'll be back shortly.
Need a spark to kickstart your innovation? Looking for thought and talks to get things moving? Wondering how to navigate a future full of change and uncertainty? With the eye-opening stories of digital disruption, extreme customer centricity, organizational innovation, and global shift, our collective of speakers, MCs, and moderators will shift your perspective. Meet our speakers. For booking and interviews, contact us on 0246 054092 or send us a mail info.accessnet@gmail.com. You can also follow us on all social media channels at AccessNet Global, African Seasoned Speakers Network, influencing the next generation of Africans.
Influencing the next generation of Africans, that's what we seek to do, and that's what we do. And it has been a wonderful episode having in here Ibrahim Mustapha taking us through public speaking and content creation, giving us wild and lovely wisdom nuggets on how to tackle fears when you're doing public speaking, and how to groom yourself and prepare yourself for that big stage. It doesn't matter the number of people. With consistency, you can be able to conquer the big stages that you will be invited into, and that you will have that opportunity to deliver your speech. Thank you so much. And then Amma says, I am learning and enjoying this. Thank you so much, Amma. Sally says, thank you for responding to that question. Those who just join us, thank you for joining us. And don't worry, you can always go back to play the whole video and learn what has been shared with us with Ibrahim Mustapha. So, Ibrahim Mustapha, what are your final words for us today on this episode? Definitely, we're going to have a part 2 of this where we're going to dive in deeper. I'm sure that the audience will not let us go without having a second part or having another area to this topic that we just discussed. So, what are your final words for our distinguished?
Right. Thanks for having me. If you are here, Go out, make a difference, go out and speak, create opportunities, use your voice to change the world. Don't give up. You can speak. I believe in you. That's it.
Ha 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 ha. He said it. You can speak. He believes in you. Go out and use your voice. Right. So before we go, we do two last things before we go. We normally have a hashtag for the day's episode. So please, if you are able to glean some things from that which Ibrahim Mustapha shared, share your hashtag for today. Let's compare our notes and see if we all have the same hashtag. Share your hashtag. Let it flow now. Let the hashtag flow and let's compare to see if we all have the same hashtag. We can even add up if it is different. We can compare and add it up. So let it come in. Let your hashtag that you were able to have today from all that Mustafa shared with us. Let your hashtag come in. Let your hashtag come in. Let's see if we are on the same path. Right. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Let it flow. Let it flow. Okay. Get ready. Get ready for the hashtag. Today's hashtag. There it goes.
Bring that ass back like a boom, boom, boom.
Right. That is a hashtag for today. Speaking from your heart. It doesn't matter the stage on which you stand to do your public speaking. If you are able to speak from your heart, you'll be able to connect with your audience and you'll be able to carry along your message that you send in across the people. So don't worry, speak from your heart. Right. So Mustafa, how can people connect with you if people want to get to you? What are some of the platforms or what are some of the media handles that they can connect with you on? Or if you are having any upcoming program you want to share with our audience, you have the liberty to do that so that people can connect with you.
Right. So on TikTok, just type Ibrahim Mustapha, full name, you are going to get me. On TikTok, Ibrahim Mustapha. On YouTube, it's Ibrahim Mustapha. And on Instagram, it's still Ibrahim Mustapha. Just type Mustapha in Spice. At Mustapha in Spice, you are going to get me. So on all platforms, Mustapha in Spice, but I've invested in getting my name out there in terms of TikTok. Full name, you get. I'm the first person you see.
Right.
If you go onto YouTube, Ibrahim Mustapha, you are going to see me, and also all the platforms. Let's reach out, let's communicate, and let's do more.
Let's reach out, let's communicate, and let's do more. Yes, but before we go, we'll never leave without taking some tips from Cyber Bells, which is cybersecurity tips. So don't go, just stick around and listen to the tips for the day. And today we are talking about always check the sender's email address. Always check the sender's email address. The bad guys have come to that realization that people normally focuses on the first part of email addresses. So because they've been receiving email addresses from this particular sender or from their bosses or from their work colleagues, and they know the first part of the email address, they don't go further to look at the other side of the email addresses. And you know, email addresses are divided into three main parts: the username part, which is the beginning part of the email address; the @ sign, which is the kind of separator between the username, and then the last part, which is the domain name. So the @ sign serves as a separator between the first part, which is the username, and then the last part, which is the domain. Now, the hackers or the bad guys have realized that most unsuspecting users focuses on the first part of the email address, which is the username. So they now do this. They go behind, and then at the domain side, they are able to alter that domain side for you, the unsuspecting online user. So let's take these examples, and then you see that when they are sending these email addresses, for example, they're going to send an email address which you will really know of. So they give you that email address that you are comfortable using most often, and then you don't really look at the real domain name, which is at the end of the address. And then based on that, you feel that this is the email address that has been sending you emails. So for example, they're going to send you an email like this: benjamin@cyberbells.com. This is the original email. This is the right email address that you use always. This is the email address. But because most often we don't really look or pay close attention to the other part of the email address, they are able to tweak it so you don't really see what they intend sending you. And that is how they send to you phishing email addresses. So this is what they will do: they will just alter this email address. So Benjamin@cyberbells, but this time it's not cyberbells with one S, but it's cyberbells with double S. Now they are able to take your mind off this because you always focuses on the first part of the email address, which is Benjamin. But this time they've come in and then they've changed the domain name for you. They've added another S, making it double S, but you don't really focus on that. And then they send it to you. So the moment you see this string of email address, you think that it's from the original person who sends you with this email address. And then they are able to send you phishing links where you click on or send you some attachment, which when you download onto your device, they are able to have access to your personal information, and then they steal it, or they alter it, or they use it to impersonate you for their own gain. So next time you receive an email, make sure you look not only at the username part of the email address, but also you look at the domain name side of the email address to check if it is really coming from the real sender of that, or the real sender of that email address, or the real owner of that email address. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Ambassador Benjamin Oswansa. It has been a wonderful time joining the Power Impact series. And as I always say, dreams are in levels. Make sure you get to the top level of your dream. So we'll meet same time next week. Have a wonderful